Daemon's darkest betrayal yet, the truth behind Blood and Cheese. What if I told you that the most brutal, gut-wrenching moment in House of the Dragon wasn't just a tragic accident of war, but a calculated move orchestrated by one of the show's most beloved antiheroes? Yeah, we're talking about Daemon Targaryen. And before you click away thinking you know this story, trust me, you don't know the half of it. Welcome back to WWE Extreme, where we dissect the most shocking moments in entertainment just like we break down the most devastating chair shots in wrestling history. And hey, if you're ready to dive deep into the most controversial moments in pop culture with the same intensity we bring to analyzing stone-cold stunners and rock bottoms, smash that subscribe button right now and ring that notification bell because we're serving up truth bombs hotter than a steel cage match under the Vegas lights. So let's set the stage here. Blood and Cheese. Even saying those words sends chills down the spine of every House of the Dragon fan. It's the red wedding of this series. The moment that made viewers throw their remotes at the TV and question everything they thought they knew about heroism, villainy, and the cost of revenge. But here's where things get twisted. Like a perfectly executed sharpshooter, the pain is intentional, calculated, and designed to make you tap out emotionally. Daemon Targaryen, the Rogue Prince himself, the man with more swagger than The Rock and more danger than peak Undertaker, might be directly responsible for the death of an innocent child. And I'm not talking about some vague, he started the war nonsense. I'm talking about him literally setting the wheels in motion for one of the most horrific acts in Westeros history. Now, let's rewind to what actually happened, because if you blinked during the storyline or got distracted by all the dragonfire and political chess moves, you might have missed the smoking gun. After Daemon Targaryen kills Lucerys Velaryon, Rhaenyra's son, in what Daemon claims was an oopsie moment gone wrong, Daemon is absolutely nuclear with rage. And when I say nuclear, I mean he's got that same energy Stone Cold Steve Austin had when Vince McMahon screwed him one too many times. Daemon wants blood. He wants revenge. He wants someone from Team Green to feel the exact same pain that Rhaenyra is feeling. An eye for an eye? No, a son for a son. Here's where Daemon goes full heel turn without the entrance music to warn us. He doesn't consult Rhaenyra. He doesn't strategize with the council. He doesn't even stop to think about the moral implications because, let's be real, Daemon thinking about moral implications is like expecting Brock Lesnar to suddenly start doing ballet. It's just not in his programming. Instead, Daemon hires two lowlifes, a rat catcher and a disgraced gold cloak, to sneak into the Red Keep and murder one of Aegon's sons. Blood and Cheese. The names sound like a bad tag team from the Attitude Era, but their legacy is far more sinister. The plan is simple in theory but catastrophic in execution. Get into the castle, find a son of Aegon, and end him. Daemon's instructions are chillingly clear. A son for a son. But here's where everything goes sideways faster than a Rikishi driver. When Blood and Cheese infiltrate the Red Keep, they can't find Aegon's heir, Prince Jaehaerys, alone. Instead, they stumble upon Queen Helena with all her children. And in a moment that still haunts viewers, they force Helena to choose which of her children dies. It's psychological torture on a level that makes Jigsaw from the Saw movies look like a children's party entertainer. Helena points to her youngest son, trying to spare her eldest, but Blood and Cheese, being the absolute monsters they are, kill Prince Jaehaerys anyway, the heir to the throne, right in front of his mother and siblings. They decapitate a 6-year-old boy and leave his head behind as a message. This isn't war. This is terrorism. This is a war crime wrapped in revenge and delivered with a brutality that even the most hardened Game of Thrones fans weren't prepared for. Now here's the million-dollar question, the same one we ask every time someone turns heel in WWE without proper motivation. Did Daemon know this would happen? Did he anticipate that his hired goons would traumatize an entire family and murder a child in the most horrific way possible? Or did he just think they'd quietly eliminate a target and disappear into the night like professional assassins? Because there's a massive difference between ordering a hit and ordering a public execution designed to maximize psychological damage. And the show leaves this deliberately ambiguous, like a wrestler's alignment during a double turn angle. We're not quite sure who we're supposed to boo. But let's break down the evidence like we're reviewing instant replay footage after a controversial finish. First, Daemon specifically says a son for a son. He doesn't say make it quick or keep it clean or avoid collateral damage. His instructions are rooted purely in equivalency. Lucerys died, so one of Aegon's sons must die. That's the law of the jungle, the code of the streets, the unwritten rule of blood feuds since the beginning of time. But second, and this is crucial, Daemon hires bottom-tier criminals to do this job. He doesn't send his most trusted knight. He doesn't go himself, even though we all know Daemon would absolutely have the guts to do it. He sends two degenerates who have the combined moral compass of a used car salesman at a going-out-of-business sale. What does that tell us? It tells us that Daemon either didn't care how messy this got or he deliberately wanted it to be messy. He wanted the Greens to feel pain, not just loss. He wanted them to be traumatized, terrified, and broken. It's psychological warfare at its most cruel, and it's exactly the kind of move that makes Daemon Targaryen such a complicated character. He's got the charisma of a top babyface, but the methods of the most despicable heel in history. And here's where the betrayal angle gets even darker than a last man standing match where all the lights go out. Rhaenyra never authorized this. When she finds out what happened, she's horrified. Not because she loves the Greens, but because even she understands there are lines you don't cross. Killing children, especially in such a brutal, public way, turns you into the villain of the story, regardless of whether your cause is just. Daemon acted unilaterally, without consent, without discussion, and without considering the political fallout. He essentially cut a promo on live television without clearing it with creative first, and now the entire brand is suffering the consequences. The aftermath is catastrophic. The small folk, who are already uneasy about the war, are now openly horrified by Team Black. Public opinion shifts, support wavers, and the moral high ground that Rhaenyra desperately needed to maintain her claim to legitimacy is now buried under the rubble of Daemon's revenge fantasy. One impulsive decision, one act of brutality, and suddenly the rightful heir looks just as monstrous as the usurpers she's fighting against. It's like watching a wrestler finally get their championship opportunity only to win it via the most controversial disqualification in history. Sure, you got the belt, but at what cost? What makes this even more fascinating is how it mirrors real wrestling storylines where anti-heroes cross the line from cool rebel to dangerous sociopath. Think about Stone Cold Steve Austin stunning Vince McMahon week after week. We cheered because Vince was the evil boss. But what if Austin had started stunning random innocent people? What if he'd attacked Vince's family just to send a message? Suddenly, the cheers would stop. Suddenly, we'd realize we've been supporting someone who's gone too far. That's exactly what happens with Daemon after Blood and Cheese. The fans who loved his rogue prince energy suddenly have to grapple with the fact that their favorite character just enabled child murder. The genius of House of the Dragon is that it doesn't let Daemon off the hook, but it also doesn't completely condemn him. The show understands that war is messy, that revenge is intoxicating, and that good people do terrible things when they're consumed by grief and rage. But it also understands that consequences matter. Actions have weight. And Daemon's darkest betrayal isn't just against the Greens. It's against Rhaenyra, against his own cause, and against whatever shred of honor he might have had left. He took the low road, and he dragged everyone down with him. So was Blood and Cheese Daemon's darkest betrayal? Absolutely. It was a betrayal of trust, of morality, of strategic thinking, and of basic human decency. It was the moment where the rogue prince revealed that beneath all the charm and the danger and the swagger, there's a man capable of truly monstrous acts. And unlike a wrestling heel turn where you can eventually redeem the character with a face run and some heartfelt promos, this stain doesn't wash off. This is permanent. This is the moment that defines Daemon Targaryen as much as any dragon ride or battlefield victory ever could. Thanks for watching WWE Extreme, where we bring that championship-level energy to everything we cover. We will catch you in the next one.